a podcast created by two guys brought together by movement, transformed into brotherhood. The boys share their authenticity as they deep dive into what it means to explore this human experience, shedding light on personal trials and accumulated wisdom. Conscious Collingwood is meant to provoke thought and insight to expand your personal awareness. Come along for the journey as Justin and Jeff exemplify what it means to be a man living wholeheartedly, balancing the divine, masculine, and feminine. Welcome to Conscious Collingwood. If you had a theme for your last week, what would be the theme?
Oh, you bugger. Today's Friday, so not this week, the previous week?
This week. Let's go this week. Last week was too far back.
This week actually feels like a bit of a break, dare say holiday, compared to the previous week.
Yeah.
I haven't done too much. I've been productive, but not like a lot of tangible, noticeable things.
Yeah. Even got a massage this week.
Got a massage. Did some workouts. Did some stuff in the office. But like didn't get crazy with to-do lists.
Yeah.
I think it was just kind of reeling from last week.
Mm-hmm.
Just dealing with some emotions and things like that.
Yeah.
So this week is, for me, being able to slow down and actually give myself permission to do that and not beat myself up that I didn't accomplish X, Y, and Z. Because, as you know, I've done a few things that were bold actions. They were small.
Bold action.
They were, yeah.
I like how you live life, though, Jeff.
Yeah, they might benefit the future. That's for certain.
Yeah.
But you won't know for a while.
Yeah.
I know.
And
what I'm alluding to is reaching out to somebody, trying to make a contact, trying to start a conversation that could have some pretty cool implications later on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but having the nerve to do it and the belief to do it,
I always wonder, if I didn't have the courage to, leave construction and start saying yes instead of staying in a safe box, what my life would be like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty miserable when I imagine it.
Do you feel when you made that decision it was a huge edge, like you were really nervous, or because I'm going to ask you the question, I'm going to answer myself. It's like it was just a natural progression. Mm-hmm. I had no other choice. Mm-hmm. It's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I never had any trepidation. Like Terry still remembers me standing at the front window up here, and she's just like, I just was staring outside. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to start this landscape business. She's just like, okay. And I'm just like, do you trust me?
Okay.
Yeah. But we didn't sit down and do a pros and cons list. There was no like real meditation over it. It was just like, there's no choice. Like because I felt into it. It just, and there was too many, I can't remember them all, but there was just too many synchronicities to not follow the signs. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't know what that shit was back then.
Yeah. I did it even though everybody that was close to me told me it's probably not a good idea. That's determination right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And to think again, you're the youngest foreman in the company, if not across probably a sector in the industry. And yeah, probably the sky was the limit on paper. You're just like, look at this resume. This kid's on fire, and look at his managerial skills and all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you could have been climbing that. I wouldn't call it a corporate ladder, but climbing the construction ladder.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. No way. Get me out of there. That's the thing. Like I was always driven and motivated. Like even when I was a foreman, I was already thinking of being a project manager. And then even before that, I was thinking about I should literally be a subcontractor teaching people how to manage better. Mm-hmm. So I always had that like, what's the future going to be? And had that like drive to be like, all right, let's make things happen in my life. But then when I decided to be like, all right, health and wellness is where it's at because I can make the world a better place and I can help people. It was all guns blazing. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, don't get us wrong. Drywall is important.
Oh, is it ever?
Yeah.
It's a very useful skill to have.
Yeah. And some people feel called to
Framing and
stay in
drywall.
that business. Like the gentleman who call him Krusty. He's a crazy
That
old
sounds
bastard.
like a drywaller.
But
Crusty.
Brian's an awesome guy, and
Yeah.
he fucking loves working. This guy works hard.
Oh yeah.
He's built a great business, and he does a lot of institutions like you've done and whatever else. But he just, it's what he does, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's got a
Sounds like
passion for it.
drywaller.
It comes out because he's very efficient, and he runs a tight ship, and
Yeah.
it's cool to watch. But
That's the way to do it.
you know, if you are into those trades and some other stuff, and there's a call for another path, you got to try and listen to that. You know.
Yeah, there's a higher calling. I always knew I was going to do well, but it needed purpose. I need purpose.
And interesting to think that teacher energy of wanting to manage people better and teach people how to, you know, as you just used the example there of being a subcontractor and helping guide others to manage better. You're doing that, but in a different industry.
Yeah. Managing your health.
Yeah.
Yeah. Teaching people how to take care of
Yeah, it's
themselves.
fascinating.
It's very fascinating. My theme for this week would be, I feel like it was almost like this coming out of a cave or something. Like I got stuck in a mine shaft or something. Like I tripped and fell in a well.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I'm stuck in a well for like 2 weeks.
Some deep well.
It was dark. And last week, so one of the guys in men's group, I'm not going to say names, but he's an older gentleman. I think he's like 75, 78.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you know, one thing I wish I had done was record a conversation with my mom, just so I could hear her voice again.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, holy shit, that's deep. And so it was Saturday night last week. This is what I do for fun on a Saturday night, is I call my mom. And we have, you know, I decided to be vulnerable and just open up about life and where I'm at and how things are going. And it went into like her telling me about what it was like to raise us as a single mom, the reality of what it was like to have, you know, well, technically a husband was like my father, and abusive and just intense all the time. And yeah, some beautiful love story too, like how she met my stepdad, and just how they've like, you know, grown into love. And it was, I think one of the deepest and impactful conversations we've ever had that really like brought us together.
Wow.
Yeah. Which was super cool. And then,
Did you record it?
no.
I thought you were going.
No,
that's where you were going.
no. But I decided well, what the reality of what my relationship with my mom was, you know, I was in a 10-year relationship, and my mom and I grew apart in that time. You know, you focus on the person you're actually in a relationship with, and sometimes that person that you're in a relationship with isn't like the biggest fan of your mother.
Mm-hmm.
And which is fine, but I focused more on the person in the relationship instead of, you know, my relationship with my mom. And you know, that came up in the conversation of like, you know, how we really lost touch. And then listening to her share about her sacrifices to just, you know, put food on the table and make sure that we felt loved. You know, my mom brought up how she wishes she had more of an education. And it was a real battle for her. And she went to college or university, like took a course and then dropped out. And a few years later, a woman, like my mom worked at a car dealership, the woman she went to school with came in with her car, and she had gone she did finish that schooling, then went back for more schooling, and then now was like chasing a career. And my mom was like, well, how, like, and this woman had 2 little girls. So same age as my brother and I. So they like connected in school. And then my mom dropped out. So to, be there for my brother and I. And this woman broke down in front of her and said, you made the right choice. My kids don't even talk to me anymore.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. And so my mom was like, shit, wow.
What a reflection.
What a reflection. And then, like, the reflection for me was, holy shit, my mom gave up so much to really be there for us and love us and care for us and make sure that regardless of the circumstances and the situations of our life, that, we were taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And then to think back the last, 12 years now, it would be, wow, how much I've grown away from my mom and not really had like a very impactful relationship. And how that must feel after so much sacrifice in your life to not have, the strongest relationship with your boys, and also the influence that, a relationship can have on that relationship, with my mother. And so it was like big reflections of like, holy shit, it's a lot to
And to
gnaw
think
on.
if your mom was hanging on to that anguish and call it regret for however many, maybe it was years, maybe it was months, I don't know the timeline, but regardless, say it is years.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have this meeting, if you will, and then this reflection, it would just wash away all that burden she was feeling.
Yeah.
Like, what a gift to some degree.
I know.
Holy smokes.
I know. But it was beautiful. It was like, and I think there was heavy emotions after, that conversation, because it was just a lot to process and to understand. And I was already in a heavy place. And it helped me, but it was like, helped me climb out of what felt like being in a well.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude, I can't imagine. Those are they're empowering but tough conversations. And our parents split up when I was 18, and when it happened, it just always felt like this wouldn't have happened to our family. So in essence, you kind of get the vibe that our parents weren't happy and stuff, but you're like, we felt like we had it all together, like, blue collar family, sports, this and that. It just didn't feel like us when you looked at other, stereotypical families that had broken families.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot to digest in itself. But getting to the point of the share here is, like, you don't know how difficult it is to be in a marriage and a relationship until you get older, right? And so then I'm now married for 15 plus years. We have 2 kids, and you start looking back going like, it's a really challenging thing to do.
Yeah.
And I've had conversations with my mom where she might have shared, there's always 2 sides to every story, but she might have shared things during tough times, and it's like, it's too much for me to hear as well.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And so I have a lot of appreciation for what my parents provided and what they did. But that whole, their personal story, that almost just needs to be theirs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's beneficial to anyone for the kids to hear some of the stuff. And I know your mom said she's protected you and hasn't shared as much as detail as there might be to share. But even at that's enough to make you go, well, what the fuck else was missing?
Dude, I know. I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
There was more?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was present for it all.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Oh, God damn it.
But I see it as, it's still their story, but I have so much compassion for people because I do understand the stages of development of consciousness. So they were at just a lower level, and it would it's asking a lot for them to go from where they were to full understanding, compassion, and forgiveness, you know? And for them to really like, or well, more my dad, but clean up his act.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, yeah, it's not, yeah, it's so interesting. Like, I don't wish to know greater details, but it does, you know, give me a lot of compassion, you know? Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all doing the best we can with what we have and
Yeah.
the tools. I mean, because if we could do better, we'd be doing better.
Yeah.
Right? But sometimes we get stuck in these individuals that you know might have some issues in the way they communicate.
Yeah.
It's just they're just doing their best.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm at peace because I know that I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not stopping my development. I'm really, I feel like going further into it.
Yeah.
And I personally, I think it's a noble task because it's pretty easy to shy away and keep things rolling on.
I think that's the work as a child is to, and when I say child, I mean if you're in your adolescence and older, to have the self-awareness that, you know, I don't want to make the mistakes my parents did, but I also want to build upon the positives that they, you know, instilled in us and whatever else. Because, you know, I've done a little bit of grief recovery work and things like that on different topics, and that's, you know, one exercise that's in the book is, you know, kind of always you're balancing this line. With every negative, there has to be a positive. So even if your dad had, you know, challenging times or he was yelling at you for eating your cereal too fast,
Yeah.
it's a likelihood that he helped, or if not bought that cereal
Yeah.
that fed you and nourished you.
Yeah.
Right? Hopefully back then it was still nourishable cereal, but you get my point. It's
Right
like
on, but yeah.
he was providing for the family.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and when we have that awareness, then you can have compassion and open your heart a little bit because, again, going back to, and just to use him as the example because we're speaking about it, but like he's doing the best he can from the place he's at.
Yeah.
So maybe, even though he did a negative here, he's still doing a positive by going to work and trying to provide and you know do his best, right? And so that exercise has really helped me in a couple different areas. Balancing the
scale.
Yeah,
that's we listened to a podcast on the way up to the movement experience in Quebec, and this gentleman talked a lot about balancing the scale, balancing your perspective. There's always a positive with a negative, and to always look deeper, especially when you go into a victim mindset, like, oh, you know, this happened to me, and my life is blah because, you know, of this, and it's like, okay, well, you know, look a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
You know, what did it provide you? What insight did it provide you? And, you know, how did it shift your perspective so it doesn't happen again? You know? And to jump back to, you know, doing the work, it's really, like, how I see it right now and what motivates me is I'm doing the work to know myself, understand my past, understand my stages of development as like from child to adult, and really addressing or breaking any cycles that would continue unless you can't fix anything that's not seen. And it's still wild to me how far back it goes. And it's like, oh fuck, you know? And it's almost exhausting, but what motivates me now is like I'm doing the work now so that when I do enter, and I believe that you could do this in a relationship too, but I'm not in a relationship right now, so it's, you know, doing the work so that I can fully participate in a positive way in my next relationship. And I think accelerate any misunderstandings or challenges or unconscious behavior that
I would have, you know. Might stir things up.
And then you're going to serve your children from a more grounded place of clarity and everything. It's just, it's so harmonious. It's that legacy work we've discussed before.
Legacy work.
And I've thought this thought before too. It's like, what if your life in this, 3D plane, in this life you're living, is really to be so selfless that you're curing, if you will, the legacy, the all the family traumas and everything, to benefit generations that'll come after you.
Yeah.
Like, what if that's your purpose?
Yeah.
I don't think it's your sole purpose, but it's an element of it, right? And that's the responsibility I feel like I've taken now that I have awareness around it, is, trying to do the best I can for Georgia and Ella, and instill in them the values. And, there's going to be a time where you have to raise your voice as a parent because they need to know when you're serious, and girls can be manipulative, especially a 10-year-old with blonde hair. Like,
that's what you're
really
teaching
smart.
me a lot.
It's really smart.
You're teaching me a lot around, it's because I've had a lot of influence of, like, positive connection with the child. Like, don't create any sort of distrust or raise your voice in any way, where I wouldn't know if it's positive or negative. But, I had a grandfather who, was pretty old school and would raise his voice, but I also, on the other hand, had like a physically and verbally abusive dad. So I knew the difference. One was like respect and get your shit together, and then one was, I think, less about me and more about him.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It's very interesting. It's a challenge, because, like, I can look back, and as you're talking, I'm listening, but I'm also thinking, like, there's times, and I won't throw George under the bus, but there were times when she was younger where she knew exactly what she was doing at bedtime. She was manipulating us to get attention.
Yeah.
And one of our original family doctors had said to us, these children don't know any difference between positive and negative attention. They're just getting attention. And so whether she didn't get enough during the day or what it was, or maybe she had some jealousy because Ella had more during the day. Like, I don't know the psychology behind why she would put on this show at bedtime. But there were times where I'm like, and I'll say it, I didn't know if the cops were going to if the neighbor would hear us and call the cops. Like, to the point where the rage is so bad. And even, like, I got to the point where, it wasn't hands-on and stuff, but you're trying to get your point across, and there's just no rationale. Like, it is, it's a psychotic episode between everybody involved. Like, it's just so maddening.
Yeah.
Because you're exhausted, you're tired and want to go to bed, and she's putting on this show. And so, time went on, and I would just have to remove myself. Like, I would just go to the garage and whatever else. Like, it was a very fucking get Terry sitting here. She'll tell you, like, very challenging times. And then we would play this. Like, she would go in and handle it, and then I'd have to go and support her, or vice versa. I'd go, and then she'd have to have my back, and it was very challenging. I wanted to share that to get to a point where now, if I raise my voice, I'm actually explaining why I'm raising my voice. So I have a little bit of, I have some compassion, empathy in the moment, what they're going through. I try and validate the girl's emotions. But then if I feel called to raise my voice, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And if I may, I'll tell you one more example.
Sure.
So last night, coming home from volleyball, and again, I won't share too much, but Ella had some different thoughts a way the play could have been handled. She played the first set and played very well, and then didn't get as much court time as maybe she expected. And she just had a different rationale around the game. And so the first thing she does when she gets out is she starts complaining. And I drove her because I had to drive her to the game because she had a dentist appointment and stuff. So anyway, it's just her and I in the truck. And Terry and I've learned, just when she's hot, just let it be hot. Like, don't try and be a savior or try and calm her down. Just let her do her thing, because she'll come around. But last night I had to sit with it, and I was like, you know what? This is not a time for me to wait for the perfect times where her emotions are perfect. And I compassionately got into a conversation with her, and I tried to paint the picture of what the coach is, what he's seeing from his perspective, and trying to give my perspective as a parent, someone who drove all that way and witnessed the game and everything, and so what came of it is she needs to be a little more accountable with her thoughts and her emotions. And I'll leave it at that. But I did get at her because I'm like, you don't get to wait for every perfect scenario until your emotions are perfect and you feel comfortable. Then you can take information. Like, that's not how this is going to work, And so I chose in that moment to explain myself, and I kind of went up and down her a little bit, and I raised my voice, but I explained that this is a place of love and compassion. Like, you need to listen to what I'm saying right now. It's going to better you.
Yeah.
So anyway, I could go deeper, but hopefully that makes sense. So I've gotten to a point where I'm not, if I raise my voice, it's really not a place of anger so much anymore. I've really been able to.
Did you call it passion?
Yeah. But I'm well aware of when I'm triggered. If I'm triggered about something, I need to remove myself because I am too hot. Then I don't participate. But if I feel called to raise my voice to get the exclamation point across, then it's necessary.
Yeah.
I listen to other parents who just too woo or soft, and they just coddle their kids' emotions, and I don't think that's safe. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, but from what I've experienced in 14 years, I don't think that's beneficial either.
Yeah.
To make sure the environment's perfect for them to receive everything. That's not how the world works.
No.
Yeah,
it's really like, how do you prepare, a young adult or a young child or I don't know what you call teenager?
Yeah.
How do you prepare a teenager for adulthood when life isn't very easy and you're on your own? You got to navigate, and I think what you're sharing with her is gonna protect her from having to clean up her own messes outside.
Well, and I feel it's working because we've had a couple of these impassioned conversations. And I love it that she'll stand up for herself too, and she'll raise her voice, and she'll get her So we'll have these, I wouldn't call them battles, but these emboldened conversations, and I love seeing that in her. But she also has to be accountable in the moment, going, okay, I need to recognize where I might be at fault here. So she's somewhat stubborn like me, so it might take her a little bit longer to learn. But I for some reason last night I could just feel an energy shift.
Yeah.
Because just the way she reacted to me afterwards and the way we conversed, like previously, she might not talk to me for 2 days.
Yeah.
But last night, we were able to engage again in the truck and, whatever else. And so there was just a shift. So I'm not going to take that as a token that I can just do this every time now. I'm going to be very aware of how I still approach things. But it just felt good to go, oh, she's listening now. And the other thing I'll do too is, like last night I sent her a text just before bed, because these kids are always on their phone. But I sent her a text just kind of, not summarizing things, but just like, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I felt like you listened to me. I could just see a change. And so it's, again, kind of following up, and, if you want to call it that bullshit sandwich where you start off with a positive, give all the crap, and then finish with another positive. Like that's, I don't know if I was consciously doing that or not, but that was my intent, is just to go, hey, go to bed feeling good about yourself.
Yeah.
You're a good kid.
Yeah.
You're learning and growing. Yeah. Just thanks for listening to your dad. And so, God, I feel like, our relationship is getting stronger because of my ability to communicate a little bit better.
Yeah.
And also give her
sure.
and give her space. And that's the one thing Terry's on me about, is like, just let her do her thing.
She's a teenager.
She'll come around. A couple hours from now, she'll come up to the kitchen and she'll want to talk about the game, or she'll want to talk about this topic around a friend or something, and then we can
address
engage.
It then.
Yeah.
Huh. That's funny.
Yeah. Where Georgia would be the opposite.
She
needs to talk in circles, and like just beat that horse to death.
Yes. Beat it right to fucking.
Is it glue yet?
Yeah.
No, it's not glue.
That's funny. That's a lot. And it's very interesting. Two different kids, two completely different people. That's crazy.
Same parents. Well, to some degree. I think I mentioned that before. Like, I think it's Gabor Mate talks about that. It's like, you don't have this. So if I have two brothers, I'm the oldest, Dan's in the middle, and Kurt's the youngest. Yeah, we have the same parents, but they were not the same parents.
Not the same people.
Because if I am, what am I, 5 or 6 years older than Curtis? You know, let's say my parents were a little more connected and whatever else, I would have witnessed that, where potentially he's seeing a little more of that separation, that disconnection, and maybe a little volatility, because I'm already out of the house, I'm just working more, I'm not around the relationship that much, where he's still getting driven around, he's either going to work or sports, and so he's witnessing more, let's call it chaos, than I would have, right? And same thing with my middle brother, like he would have witnessed a different relationship too.
Yeah.
And definitely different parenting styles. Like the highway over here, I wasn't allowed to cross that fucking highway.
Yeah.
No shot.
No?
Curtis, fucking take your tricycle across. Who cares? Like, just
pedal quick.
Just watch out for the transports.
Yeah.
The general store over here, I couldn't go there and get a sour key.
No
shot.
shit.
Curtis? Oh no, go down to the river. Go see your friend across the street. He lives by the ballpark. Like, just go do whatever. Like, they do get to the point where they don't care anymore.
Yeah. We're so tired of raising these kids.
Yeah. And if you look at your personalities, I mean, I think Kurt's got a little more free will in him than I do. You know?
Interesting.
So there's something there.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck. That's the thing. Siblings, you're just, most siblings, you got some things that you carry along, but that it might be nurture versus nature. But I think each individual is so unique.
And I think you've discussed this, but you can probably witness that in your own siblings too.
Oh yeah. The most different people I've ever met. Yeah. It's funny. But all different birthdays, different astrology, different, all that shit. Mm-hmm. It's wild. But I love it. I can't wait to have 3 different I don't know. Maybe I have 2 kids, maybe I have 3. But I'm open to it. Let's get more personalities running around.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out.
And speaking about our family, like, it is fun now because we're all kind of individually busy with our own families and stuff, but it is a lot of fun to get together and seeing us all grow up and all mature, and we're all different people than we were a year ago. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we have a lot of good laughs when we're around, and beat the crap out of my mom a little bit. we ride her pretty hard sometimes. Yeah, we can be hard on her mental health a little bit. I think now she's accepted that it comes from a place of love. Yeah. Like, it's all love.
Yeah.
But I think that, my father was pretty sarcastic and critical, and so I think that was a trigger for her. Like, you can maybe get 1 shot in. Shit. You can maybe 2, and then it's like, okay, if it comes from different angles, she's not happy. Yeah. But now she sees it.
Fire therapy for Christmas.
I told you about that whole Instagram share, and we all had the same reaction to it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, that's funny. That's actually one of the funniest things that ever happened.
Yeah. It's great.
Oh, mercy. Yeah. I don't know if we have any dead space here, but going back to our mothers, I think that's, like, especially witnessing Terry, and what I was hearing in your story there is, like, the mother's maternal instincts to make their child's life comfortable. Mm-hmm. So whether she doesn't pursue a career or whatever, and she's protecting you by not sharing stories, like, everything she can do, right? I'm sure when it comes to material things too, she's working hard to provide you with maybe what she didn't have, or to make you feel as good as possible. Mm-hmm. My mother's a shining example of that too. And now I witness that in Terry, and I see myself as being the one who's a little more conservative, and it's like, no, they need to be barked at over here, or we don't need to get this for them. Like, they need to have a hard time. Just because they want it, they don't need it. So there's this element of, having a slight different parenting style. But I think that's just a maternal instinct thing.
Yeah, the sacrifices mothers are willing to make. It's crazy.
Yeah. And no doubt she was a mama bear too. Like,
oh, she's a mama bear. Yo, my mom used to tell me when I was young, she used to say, if you get a girl pregnant, I'm going to cut your dick off. Yeah, she used to say that. Or my balls off or something like that when I was in high school. So, yeah, she was my mom's, she says it how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's very opinionated.
Yeah.
In a kind of a funny way.
Your opinion is valid most times?
No, they're just hers.
No. Well, that's okay. At least you know where she stands.
Yeah, yeah. At least she's comfortable sharing her opinion.
Yeah.
I think you have to be pretty opinionated to raise two boys that are wild.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's just going to come naturally.
Yeah. My mom mentioned in that conversation, she was like, my healing work was to raise two boys.
Mm.
I was like, oh, Jesus. Good for you.
Yeah.
And you did it. Yeah. And what she said was she knew she was successful if I wasn't I was a wild child, but I didn't go to jail and I wasn't dead by 18. I was like, and what she said the other day was, and that you'd be lifelong learners. I'm like, well, success, Mom. Success. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. That's good. I mean, you'll get there obviously, but I think that's one of the proudest things. Like, I think I've shared this before, but like even I was watching Ella play volleyball last night, and like, you know, she was serving the ball really well, and the other team couldn't receive it too well. So she served she had like 8 service points or something, and like midway through, I'm almost like not welling up. I'm just like, there's so much pride in being a parent, and being a good one too.
Yeah.
And when you're open to it all, open to the messy stuff,
Yeah.
open to the successes, like, you know, to know what she's going through if she's having a hard time, but knowing how she's playing so hard in the court, right? And all the background information. Yeah. And same thing with G2. Like, it's just, I don't know. You'll get there, and it's...
Dude,
and you're as emotional as I am to some degree, if not more.
Yeah.
And so you'll fucking...
I can't wait to have
You'll
kids.
be a puddle.
I'll be a puddle all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. I'm excited.
Yeah.
You know, for that future. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. It's a journey. The one thing that I had this conversation with Terry the other day, but like, you know, I don't know if it's prudent to do your kids' laundry and stuff and how much you need to coddle them and whatnot, but like, I think if you have some awareness around it, it's okay. And where I'm going with that is like, you know, knowing that Elle is busy, she's on the court like 12 hours a week and she's doing very well in school. It's like, if I see her hamper overflowing, it's like, I'll just go and do her laundry now. And it's not about teaching her a lesson or she's being lazy, because she's not. Could she find time and make it up? Potentially, but she's still only 14 years old. And to be honest, I think it actually creates a bit of a connection. It's like I'm taking care of her to some degree. And also, as a selfish point, like, she won't be in the house that much longer. And so when I am doing her laundry and folding it or something, I'm completely present and aware of why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and same thing with George's. Like, she's so tiny. Like, her clothes are so tiny still.
Yeah.
Like, at least Ella's are like, you know, they're big sweaters and whatever else.
Yeah.
But George's clothes, she's just an infant. And she's just folding this little stuff up, and it's like, she will only be 10 for so long.
Yeah.
Right? And so I do try and cherish that, because I've heard that, I don't know if that was like on a meme or something, or if I actually feel like my aunt might have said that. But, you know, they had a very busy household, kids always in and out, active with sports. I had 3 cousins in the house, and she says one day all the shoes are gone. Wow. And it's just you and your husband's shoes at the front door. And she goes, these little moments when you've walked up, like you've come into our into the landing there, and there's fucking shoes everywhere.
Yeah.
But ever since hearing that, I don't get upset, because, you know, there's chaos on the landing. It's like, well, no, this won't be one day. It'll just be my golf shoes, my running shoes, and probably sandals, and then Terry's same thing. And it's like, there's going to be 3 sets of shoes, and they're both ours and no one else's.
Wow.
So
That's a trip.
Yeah. But think about that. I could see myself coming up the stairs one day and crying, because I'm like,
Yeah, of course.
you know?
Wow.
Frick.
And you're a lot closer to that reality than I am.
Yeah. And Terry's kind of instilled that a little bit in me too, because I'm like, you know, I'd like to see her be a little more selfish with herself and take care of herself a little bit better, because I think she still gives herself away too much.
Yeah.
But her rebuttal to that is maybe a little bit of agreement, but also that she's really enjoying nurturing the girls and taking care of them, because as I just said, she's well aware that they're only here for so much longer.
Yeah.
They're not going to die, sorry, but they're only in the house so much longer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you know, I think we might have discussed that too. Some woman, I think she wrote a book, but I think it's a book. But regardless if it isn't, the concept of you only have 18 summers with your kids, right? It's like it goes by so fast. Wow. So, you know, try and be present for as much as possible.
Crazy. Yeah, when you really break it down that way.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a math problem you don't think about.
Yeah. It was funny, my mom actually brought up how important it was for her to make sure that when we left, we knew how to do laundry, we knew how to clean the house, we knew how to cook well.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I need to sew on a button, I know how to fucking sew on a button. And I was like, all right, well, come on. I still give you a call for that one. She'll laugh over that. But, you know, I think it's important to educate your kids on how to take care of themselves, because there's a lot of coddled adults out there that, especially, you know, I'll speak to men. What the fuck, guys? Like, you need to learn how to do laundry, fold it, make dinner, clean up dinner.
Yeah, and this if there's any ideation of like hierarchy and gender roles and stuff, like go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And if you're putting that on your partner,
yeah,
grow the fuck up.
Yeah. And
get your shit together.
That ain't going to be a good relationship.
No.
It's 2023.
Yeah. Because soon your partner becomes your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not good.
No, not at all. I think Mom, I don't think she instructed us how to do laundry. She just stopped doing it.
Yeah. Figure it out.
There you go downstairs, and there's just piles of clothes, and you're just like, well, I don't want to wear that again, so I'm going to have to figure this out, right?
Yeah.
I can still remember, like, needing a sweater or something, right? You're like, fuck, there's nothing clean. And you just throw it in the dryer with a bounce sheet or something, try and get the stink out of it real quick. Or the staleness out of it, and get the wrinkles out of it, and then, all right, we're back in business.
Back in business. No, my mom was very precise with everything.
Yeah?
How she folded towels, how she folded shirts, how she ironed shirts. And she, like, instilled all those, how you do it, you know?
So do you feel like you had, like, almost like a course leaving the house? Like, you knew how to, like, because she would have, with purpose, taught, because I would have learned through witnessing.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much my mom said, here's a guidebook, just do the stuff.
Yeah.
But are you saying that's kind of how?
Oh yeah, my mom was opinionated.
Yeah.
Like I was back at my house the other day, and my little brother had to vacuum the floor and do the baseboards, and there was a box beside the wall, and she grabs the box, moves it aside, and is like, you didn't complete your job. You know, there's dust on the baseboard here. She's like, when you do something, you do it right. I'm like, oh, was my childhood. Yeah, there we go. And I'm like, good though.
Yeah.
How you do anything is how you do everything. So, you know, don't cut corners. I appreciate it. And it's why I was a good foreman at 23 years old, you know?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, she was a good mom. Great mom.
Friggin' moms.
Moms, man.
We'd all be without them.
Oh yeah.
Even the bad ones, right? They're still keeping kids alive.
Yeah.
To some degree, like they might not be doing the best job, but the kids are still alive.
Kids are still alive.
You know, I think I might have said that. I think Louis C.K.'s got a bit about that. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh mercy.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I had something there, but it slipped my mind.
I think this is the first time, and I said this before we got on the camera, but like most times we get on the couch or on camera, like I'm got some thoughts that are going to percolate
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
We came in pretty blank today.
We came in blank as hell, and
Yeah.
then, well,
That's
a lot honestly came up out of it.
Yeah.
I think we both, well, I can speak for myself. I had a heavy week, so it was, and I'm on the up right now, so I almost don't want to even go back into it.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, because I already did.
Mm-hmm.
I already had to sit in it for a while. And I think it's very important to sit. I personally believe that regardless of how good your life is, Instagram, social media, and all that really can be a trap because people are just portraying the good aspects of their life. Like, my life is so beautiful and so great all the time. And I don't think that's true for anybody, regardless of, financial abundance, job, family. Like, life can be pretty good, yet there's always like these rises and falls, and I don't know if it's the energy. I think the season definitely has a role to play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at flights, but to places warmer than this, because I don't think I can operate correctly without my little shorts on and no shirt. This is weird for me. I've been so clothed the last 2 months. It's tough. But yeah, it's honoring the natural rise and fall in your energy, and that's mental clarity, physical energy, and mental capacity, and just allowing yourself to feel it instead of wish it was another way. You told me yesterday, I think it was, that you heard this woman who puts a elastic band around her wrist, and then when she's in a funk, she like snaps it. And you said to me, I don't know if that is the right approach. And I agreed, because I think we have to honor the seasons that we're in sometimes instead of avoid them or pretend that they're not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's how I got into a mess, is because I was suppressing my emotions and using perspective. And what do I have to complain about? My life's perfect. So, if I continued to snap that elastic band, who knows where I'd be? Like, learning how to feel my emotions and sit in my shit and go through the seasons as you're just sharing, like, it's just necessary, right? And yeah, so I think there could be things where, maybe it's trivial, or maybe someone triggered you and it's like, okay, fucking snap out of it. Like, yeah, let's use it there. But I don't think she was using that context, just from what I heard. But regardless, at least if you're going to use that analogy or that metaphor, share it with a disclaimer, because, that's not healthy in my view. And as you
life
echo
isn't
too,
always black and white.
No.
Yeah.
No. These fucking influencers have 1 million followers and they're just saying shit and whatever else, right?
That's kind of what we're doing, but we don't have any. We don't have 1 million followers.
We have enough.
We have an abundance.
We have an abundance. We have enough.
Yeah.
I love it. I love getting a handful of people that reach out and go, "Hey, thanks for sharing that," or,
Yeah, our last podcast, I had a ton of people reach out.
Did you?
And 4.
That's a ton.
That's a ton of people that just like really appreciated the conversation and the vulnerability.
Yeah.
I think what I've noticed is being in a leadership position in a community where we're doing personal growth, and that can bring up a lot for most people. I always try to lead with honesty and real life experience. This was my life. This is what I had to navigate. And in all honesty, I still navigate it because it's, part of what made me who I am. And I share pretty openly about, you know, my dad and all the challenges in my life, to really give people perspective. And I get reflected back to me a lot like, oh my God, I would have never even imagined or never even thought that that would have, you know, been your reality as a growing up or whatever in the past. And yeah, it's important because, you know, it highlights the potential of what you know, you can shift your perspective.
Do you feel called at all on your Instagram page to share a little more openly about stuff like that, or is that a tough one? And the reason I ask, because I've witnessed other people that share very openly, and it almost becomes too much sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Like there's this balance between trying to connect with people and have resonance and, you know, connect that way, but then potentially becomes too much, right? And
I can only connect with people in person.
Yeah.
I have watched.
That's a great answer.
I've watched social media a lot. I think I've, you know, dabbled in, you know, sharing a little bit about like my allergies and stuff, but I don't think there's. I want to say potency, but also my intention behind sharing is I'm not, yeah, it's kind of tough to say because, you know, when I do share, whether it's in a yoga teacher training program, whether it's in a coaching program for lifestyle design or nutrition or something like that, or even strength training, I have an audience of people that, you know, is there for, you know, a reason. And with social media, I'm not looking, if I'm to share vulnerably, I want to be able to look into your eyes. If I can't see into someone's eyes, I don't feel the urge to share vulnerably or share the reality of my life. Social media, and one thing I have grappled with is, how can I actually be as authentic as possible on social media? Because usually in the seasons of my life when I'm down the most, or I'm really like, you know, having to navigate some heavier emotions, I just don't even engage. So if you don't see me on social media, you can probably think that I'm navigating some things, you know, and I just don't have the mental, emotional, or mental or emotional capacity to really be on there. And I still think I try to do a good job, you know.
Yeah, no, I
share,
think you
honestly,
do.
But
yeah,
it's tough.
I think that's a really good answer, and it makes a lot of sense because it's the nuance and the context that's missing. Yeah. You don't have time on social to explain the background story of why you might be low or whatever, right? I remember Ella was going through a challenging time in grade 7 or 8 or something. It might have been a friend's circle thing or something. And this song came out, and it completely sounded like what she was going through. I remember like tearing up and welling up, and I don't know why the fuck I did it, but I ended up like shooting a video, and then I posted it. And this is back when I was like turf, not like coaching.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I felt called to do it. But then the reflection I got, people were like, "Are you okay, Jeff? Like it gets better." And it's like, "Well, no, I'm fine. I'm just going through this." So my point in that is like, there was no context.
Yeah.
I couldn't share why I was upset or why I felt connected to this song and why I was crying and whatever else. So it was just very weird. So like at least, you know, this isn't a 3-hour podcast, but at least you can express stuff about your father, your mother, or a relationship. And there's some background story. So if someone's willing to listen for an hour, they're going to get the gist of why you might have been in the
I
season.
can never do a podcast alone.
No.
Yeah. I need to talk to my buddy Jeff here.
Yeah, it's all about context. And I think also, dude, like, it's not everybody's fucking business.
No.
It's too intimate. Everybody doesn't need to know.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the other part of it. Because really, if I have stuff going on, I'm only going to tell 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 people, really, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest with myself.
Oh, there's about 3 people in
Yeah.
my immediate circle that know everything.
Yeah. And so how do you ever broadcast that? You don't.
No. It's not meant to be.
No.
I think, life is meant to be private, and
I think most of us know this. So as long as you allude to it, like if it's surface level alluding to in your
Yeah.
shares and stuff, then I think that's enough connection
yeah.
to tell people that, oh, Justin's only doing this many pull-ups today because he's,
Yeah.
funk or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's a tough one.
It's a tough one. But I think it's important to, I do think with social media, it is important to not share only the good times, but to be honest and real. Not just for you, but for the world. Imagine the world was a little bit more real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
There's a few people that do it really well. Yeah.
Who?
Well, the Being Method, MJ Renshaw, I think she's phenomenal at doing it. And I've really looked up to her and her ability to navigate social media, just honestly. And yeah, that's really...
I'll have to check that person out. I don't know if I've ever
No?
heard of them.
Oh, she's
The Bee
wonderful.
Method?
Really good person. Yeah.
Maybe I have. It's not ringing a bell.
Yeah. It's all good. It doesn't matter, Jeff.
I don't want to feel judged.
That was a good question about social media. It's a weird landscape.
Fuck, it's super weird.
I think anybody that's like, not sharing a balanced perspective, or is just like grind all the time and change your mindset. Like, I'm happy all the time because I have positive affirmations I say every day. Like, okay, I'm not 100% sure about you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those can be dangerous. Just suppressing.
Yeah.
If I was, I don't know why, I'm like, if I could think about someone who, I feel Mel Robbins does a really good job. Do you follow her at all?
No. Look at us.
She's an older woman.
Yeah.
She's very...
Maybe we're just showing our age gap here.
Maybe, yeah. Well, she has 2 teenagers. Actually, pardon me, I think she has 3 children. They're all out of the house now in school and secondary stuff and everything, post-secondary. But she shares openly about her marriage and her, the stuff her and her husband go through when it comes to business and family. She's got a very successful podcast. She's a very successful person. But yeah, she just, like, I've asked this with Terry too. I'm like, asked her a question, like, if you could have, your dinner, your dream dinner, like, who is it? Mel's in my list.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't know it.
Yeah. That's okay.
But if I ever met her and had the opportunity, she would definitely be probably top 2 or 3 person I would want to have dinner with, because she has this ability of being down to earth and connecting with her audience and just being transparent, but it's not in an obnoxious way. Like, it's not an attention-seeking behavior and stuff.
Do you ever think that it's too much? Like, what she shared is like, ooh, if I was her husband, I don't know. That would kind of be an edge for me.
Yeah, she talked about sex there not too long ago, about spicing things up, and it wasn't so much about him. I think it was getting her own mojo and stuff going. Yeah. And I'm like, holy fuck, here we go.
Yeah.
So, but again, I think it's just the way she delivers the information. It's digestible. That's a good question.
Yeah.
But when she did share, I was like, yeah, I don't know. That seems like that's a lot. Like, that's an Aubrey Marcus Vylana thing. Like, you're taking your bedroom to the the world now.
To the public, yeah. To the stage.
Yeah, so that's, but I think potentially these individuals that get such a following, like, you probably plateau. And you've discussed everything. Now we've got to ratchet this up a little bit. We've got to, if we're going to connect more or resonate with more people, we got to maybe get a little bit deeper.
Wow.
So maybe that's a thing. I don't know, but
yeah, I think sex is one of those things that's like done behind closed doors. And I think it is important to, shine light on the reality of what it's like to do it. So that's funny. But yeah, there are things where it's like, yeah, that would be my question. Is like, does she share things that make you go, oh, I don't know?
No, I don't get that. I really feel like if you were to, because they say like most times you don't want to meet your heroes because they might fall short of, the ideal of what you think they are.
Yeah.
I've experienced that when you meet a hockey player or someone. I grew up, I want to meet this guy. It's like, oh, it's not what you thought. Not everybody, but once in a while.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you meet someone and they exceed your expectations, which is kind of cool as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like, speaking about her specifically, I just feel like whatever you see on social is exactly who she would be at the dinner table or beyond.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. That's authentic for sure.
Yeah. I spent a day with MJ and her husband Ian. The most genuine people you ever met. Same people who they are on social media. And I'm like, yeah, very inspiring,
Yeah.
Because it's important.
Fuck yeah.
Don't wear a mask.
No.
And I think, especially working with people in my position, like, we host YTTs, personal development stuff at the studio, and we're really a studio to help inspire and empower people to take charge of their health and their well-being. And who would I be to my community if I wasn't like 100% authentic and living in alignment with my values,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's why your community has done so well. And why it's grown so fast.
Thanks, bro.
Is that,
Yeah.
There's a lot of fake people out there.
Yeah.
A lot of filters.
A lot of filters, a lot of masks. Yeah.
And that's exhausting.
Yeah. Just be honest, We all got work to do. We're all trying our best.
Yeah.
We're all human. I'm not better than anybody else.
No.
Just me. Everybody else is taken. Just trying to do my work.
Yeah. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
God's work.
Yep.
The Lord's work.
The Lord's work.
Oh, mercy, bro. Well, I don't know. We went around the world there. We didn't really have any concrete topic, but I think that was pretty nice.
That was lovely. It's a good conversation.
Yeah.
Just a nice, honest conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny too. You don't wear a mask, but you're very good at compartmentalizing your stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was busy too, so we didn't connect too much last week. But yeah, your ability to, just compartmentalize.
So funny.
I think it's a skill set.
I almost felt like, not to say you triggered me, Jeff, but when you first said compartmentalize, I was like, I almost was offended. Like it wasn't, like it's not a good thing. Or it was like, it's like a shadow of mine or something. Not to say it is or isn't. But I think I've heard that term used almost like in a negative way towards myself.
Well, if I was to clarify, and not because I felt like I just put you in the spot or something, or triggered you, but it's more so like be able to carry out your professional duties and you don't take a shift off.
Yeah.
You didn't call in sick. You don't. Woe is me. You don't play a victim. It's like you just do your job. And that's what I say. Yeah. It's like fuck. I wouldn't have known a difference.
Yeah, that's funny. I did call in sick last week for the first time in a really long time. I couldn't help it. There's no way I can show. There's something going around. Yeah. But yeah. And I think I've even shared this before. It's because I love what I do, and I'm actually like, regardless of the challenge in my life, I know that like I'm doing like this is my passion.
Yeah.
Like I'm proud of myself, and I dare say lucky to have had the courage to pursue my passion in life. So regardless of what's happening in my life, I get to do something that is technically work,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like work.
Mm-hmm.
It feels pretty fucking cool to do what I do.
Yeah.
To me,
I hear
might
you
not
there.
be cool to other people. That's okay.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
It's your life.
that's my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, my fucking life is awesome. It's so cool. I am in like, I was reflecting this to Ariana the other day. I was like, I'm in the fucking coolest time of my life, you know? One of the coolest times of my life. I'm actively working through, you know, things, patterns and childhood stuff, and I'm becoming, you know, the best version of myself so that, you know, I can enter a partnership that is going to do well and is going to be full of love and connection and all that. And I'm growing a business with my best friends. You know, I'm the godfather of Atla, and, you know, I get to wake up in the morning, and like Thursday morning, I woke up and get to hear her little footsteps run around,
Yeah.
and then I go up there and we, you know, I get to give her like a hug and a kiss, and then she wants to hang out at my place for a bit, so we go down, we have a little dance party, and then she goes back, she's got to go to daycare, and I had to work, and I'm like, fuck, what a cool time, because like this, it's not always going to be this way,
No.
and soon it's going to be, you know, something different.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm in deep gratitude and happiness with where I'm at in my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty cool.
And isn't it, I don't want to say fun, but it is sort of fun. Like when you come out of those low vibes and you come out and you get to see all the clarity.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's, you know, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It is. It's like.
And that's why you go down. So
Yeah.
you come back up.
So you come back up. You got to duck before you jump. And you won't appreciate the sunny days if it's sunny every day.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's fucking miserable, it's pouring, and then the sun comes out, you're like, wow, you know, shift in perspective.
I know this has been a thing for me in the past, and it really feels like no amount of journaling, exercising, running, talking, whatever it might be, whatever the modality might be, the tool to try and get you out of that funk, it really just, it's a fucking energy.
Yeah.
Did you have that same sensation? Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just
a weight.
I cannot get out of this.
Couldn't get out of it.
No. And then whether it is a conversation with somebody or it's a word, it's a song, or it's just rest one night, you got enough rest or whatever, and all of a sudden it just dissipates and you're just like, where the fuck did that go?
Yeah.
And then you're just back to yourself.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh,
And
ain't that a bitch?
and I might be the luckiest man ever to have friends that are wise and strategic enough to have a conversation where on the other side of it, I'm inspired or I have resolved the mental turmoil or weight that was bearing down on me to get beyond it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I've witnessed friendships where it's just validating the misery.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck and then you're just like, well, my misery is validated,
Yeah.
you know? How constructive is that?
No bueno.
Yeah. So I feel, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
welcome
lucky.
back.
Thanks, bro. Let's go.
Let's go.
It's time to dream, baby.
Yeah, got a few of them.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
Got lots of dreams. That's the coolest part about, having the courage to create what you want in this life. It starts coming true, and then you're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
I get to do what I want?
Yeah.
And it actually happens when, you direct the energy, and obviously it's created from love. Let's go. Let's dance.
I think that's where what are you, 8 years younger than me? Like it's a different generation and there's less baggage there. You're working through it. For me, when I look back at my life, like I was always driven, I had an imagination, and I had goals and I chased them, but I never really thought about my thoughts creating things. It was just, I was just lucky enough to have a drive. And now I look back and going, okay, well, everything I thought about came to fruition. Now that I'm much more aware of it, it's like, okay, I can be dialed in with these thoughts,
Yeah.
you know?
Creator consciousness.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this last week. I get it. But still, it's just like, whew. But you have so much more awareness around 8 more years.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like, in 8 years, when you're like, where the fuck will you be in 8 years?
Yeah. And
With this
you know
much
what, Notes? You actually inspire me because I see a man that's, you know, put in work and created what he wants in his life. And I'm at the like early stages of that, where I'm like, fuck, like this is so cool to gather this knowledge now at 32. Fuck, like this is gonna slingshot me.
Yeah.
You know?
And what you just shared there, I like too, because I feel the same way right now. Is if I had more money in the bank account, or we had a different house, or like, it's not, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be right now. And I think as a human being, when you can get to that space and connect the physical with the spiritual and everything, and just be so grateful for what you have, like I am very lucky. Of course I want more and want to experience more, but just pretty fortunate to live the life I get to. It hasn't been easy. There's been a lot of, you know, and I understand there's other individuals in this world that are living a tougher life and, you know, have a lot of turmoil and stuff. But speaking specifically about me, you know, I'm very grateful and I don't take it for granted. And it's just nice when you get to that pocket. It feels whole, right?
Yeah.
Like what you just described there was so beautiful of, you know, Atla coming down and playing and whatever else.
Dude, literally
just
the best.
Yeah.
Ever. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. Who would
I used to have to wake up at 4:50, 5 o'clock, and I was at work at 6. And, you know, I think about right now, it was like I'd be building a Cineplex, and it was cold. It was fucking steel and concrete everywhere. They probably just sprayed fucking that insulation that's just fuzzy on the fucking ceilings. And they're like, oh, now you got to drill holes through it. And you're like, fuck this. You know? And now I get to wake up. I get 3 days where I wake up when I want. And I have this, you know, beautiful goddaughter and all these amazing friends in a community of just beautiful people where we're just like feeding off each other and becoming better and just living, you know, what feels like a dream. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it happened pretty quick. You know, I think I've been reflecting a lot that I started this journey in 2018.
Okay.
That's when it was breakthrough for me. 2018. It's 2024. That's 6 years.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. I would say the fun thing is too, the more you do it, the less shit there is to swim through. You're going to have your lows and stuff, but it's still, you're just navigating life. I feel like the big stuff, because you learn to establish the boundaries, you learn to take care of yourself, you learn how to navigate certain situations, and it just becomes just navigating life. And I don't know. I know for me personally, like the in-betweens, the lows and the highs have been so minute, and if they are, they just don't last very long. And again, I think it's just a testament to all the work and the exercising and strengthening all the different muscles it takes to persevere through those tough times, and having the perspective, and just it's a cleansing. We're changing ourselves. We're reinventing ourselves, right? We're expanding. It's just
letting go of the old and with the new.
Yeah.
One thing I actually wanted to touch on, we just kind of alluded to it right before I went on that inspired, passionate banter there, was anyone that's actually fighting for, you know, for you to validate how hard it is for them. I would say, you know, be mindful. Like, why are you fighting for that when, you know, the perspective shift really should be, yes, life was hard, but let's move beyond that, because that was in the past. You know, to really shape a new reality, parts of you have to stop seeking validation for the hard times and know that they're like, validate it for yourself. It was hard, but it's time to move on. And if you constantly need to carry that with you, it'll always be there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. And maybe to connect it with that just briefly, it's like that's similar to I feel the conversation that I had with Elle last night.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that pattern in her was showing up again. It's like, okay, we got to nip this in the bud. Let this energy die. This isn't serving you.
Yeah.
Is this your best? Was this the highest version of yourself? No, it's not. So let's be better in this situation. We don't need to validate this right now.
Yeah.
No, let's burn the fucking thing.
Fuck yeah. You ever get her to write something out and light it on fire?
Haven't done that exercise. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe do it like in more fun fashion, like strap it to a fucking firework or something, you know? That's the kind of dad I'm gonna be, you know? You guys having some tough emotions, let's put in a fucking firecracker.
Yeah. That
Let's
would be
fucking
fun.
let it go, you know? Yeah. Let's move on, you know? It was beautiful.
Dude, that is so much more fucking fun than burning it in a fireplace
Dude,
or
I'm gonna
having
be a fun
bonfire.
dad. I'm gonna be a fun dad.
Like a Roman candle. Just
Yeah.
get a bunch of skids and
Yo, one of my
build a
favorite
Roman candle.
one of my favorite memories, and I know this is fucking terrible, but my dad, so my stepdad, who I call my dad, and he is like the best influence. I love this man more. Like, if it wasn't for him, I don't know what my life would be. But him and my uncle, they shot Roman candles at us for probably like 2 hours. And we were fucking teenagers, and like my cousin,
2 hours?
oh yeah, my cousin had a shield, and he was like, boom, boom, like it was like he would get right close. Oh, dude, it was sick. We had a good time. Yeah, in Oakville. Because my uncle lived in a circle, so yeah, that was probably one of the best times ever.
It sounds like you're throwing lawn darts at each other. Like,
yeah, but it was uncles shooting their kids, you know, with Roman candles. Oh, yeah, it was fun.
that's a good story.
Free range parenting.
Oh my god.
I miss the way it used to be.
I wonder if you'd go to jail for doing something like that now.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Don't charge my dad. I love him more than anything.
Are you too young to remember lawn darts?
No. I had lawn darts.
With the sharp, like, dart tip? Or the round tip?
Yeah.
Like, looking back, and you'd fucking huck those things in the air.
Well, okay. Yeah, I didn't do that. I knew these were a weapon, dude.
Yeah.
My cousin was a drummer, and we used to play this game where we would stand far apart, and you can't move, and you'd throw the cymbal up, and it would like right in the ground, right near your bare feet, and we'd play that game. Obviously, you'd move.
Jesus.
We got pretty accurate after a while, but oh, dude, yeah, it's that thrill, you know. You want to feel alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Let's pretend we lose our toes or our nose, and so he'd like take out his drum kit, go outside.
Yeah. Well, we had some old ones, so we just throw them up, and they just.
Was that the shield as well?
Yeah, actually, it was. It was. Pew pew. Oh fuck! It was awesome. Yeah, it was cool. Man.
Oh mercy!
What a life. I'm here for it all.
The good old days. I'm glad you're here still to witness it all.
Yeah.
It sounds like you should be dead or could be dead.
I should be dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've heard those stories when my uncles would get together and stuff, my dad and his brothers. It's just like, you hear the shit back in the day and you're just like, and they'll joke too. It's like, yeah, we should all be dead.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. The shit we used to do as teenagers too.
I think there were some guys that I've grown up that were pretty kind of crazy, and I hear their stories. I'm like, yeah, they have some, but I was too straight and narrow. I don't have any almost death stories. None. Yeah. Not really.
I know.
If they were, they'd involve a golf cart or something.
Yeah.
Like just because I flipped it or.
Yeah, I flipped them.
But like not because I was doing something.
Yeah, I remember finding a toilet on the side of the street with my buddies, and we thought it'd be fun. We filmed everything we did, and there's There's film out there of me on a toilet that we put on a skateboard driving down a hill with my pants around my ankles. You know? Stupid shit. Well, you just want to feel alive, you know?
Yeah.
And I'd do anything for a laugh as a kid.
To get that laugh?
Anything to get a laugh. Yeah.
A little attention-seeking behavior.
Yeah. Well, I just like to be funny.
What would you think about it, like if an adult was doing that these days? Would you go, oh, they're just being playful, and you're like, oh, fucking Norm, get off the skateboard.
Get off the skateboard. Give it back to the kids. And put the toilet back on the boulevard. That's crazy. Grow the fuck up.
Oh. Man, oh man.
Life. What time is it?
It's that's just over an hour.
That was good.
Whew. Yeah, bro. We both check our phones. Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Kind of went all over the place, but why not? I think it was a good combo.
I just I got asked to. I was connected to this person, and her name is Lisa, and she has a podcast called Ramble with Intent. And I think it's a pretty cool name. So to steal her line, I think we rambled with intent today.
I think we did.
Yeah.
It was a good ramble.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It was better for it was as good as it gets when you come in with nothing.
Dude, I was blank.
I was blank too.
Blank.
Yeah. We usually have a list.
There's something there to pick at. Maybe we sent too many voice notes to each other this week.
Yeah. No,
well.
I think it's going to be different next time.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed the new studio.
Dude, I love it. It's good leather. What is this, cowhide?
Thank you for being with us. We love recording these podcasts. If you know anyone who would resonate with today's episode, we would be grateful if you would share it with them. If you have any questions or comments, do not be shy and reach out. We would love to connect with you. Until next time, be well, love yourself, and live consciously.